Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. So today we have something exciting in store for you. It is not our usual Pioneer bit, and it's not to do with the Durango. It is to do with this Yamaha Raptor 700. We're going to be installing some wheel spacers on it, front and rear, to widen the stance on it. We're going to be installing some wheel nuts also. But first of all, we got to get it cleaned up. As you can see, it has a little bit of mud and dirt on it. So we're going to get this cleaned up. We're going to grease up all the joints for them. And then we will go ahead and we will get started with the install. So over here we have the wheel spacers. So one thing to notice is these are the spacers from the Pioneer, the ones I'm not using. I want you to look at the difference in the size of the studs. I mean, Pioneer is just massive compared to these things. But another thing to notice on these spacers is these are the rear hubs. These are the front. So if you didn't know, these Raptors right here have a different bolt pattern front to rear. As you can see, they run a tall tire up front than they do in the back. And it doesn't matter because they're two-wheel drive and they are just designed to go fast. So the other thing we're installing is a Team Alba wheel nuts. So I have everything laid out here. I've already opened the box, and what you get in the box is a set of instructions, your frames, the pegs for the front, a couple bolts, the Nerf bar nuts, and a sticker. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get this thing outside. Let's get it pressure washed, get it cleaned up before we start working on it. So the first thing I like to do when I wash the Pioneer or any ATV, UTV that I have, is I spray it down with my favorite degreaser. I think today I'm using Purple Power. I buy whatever's on sale, whether it be Simple Green, Purple Power, Citrus Orange, whatever it is on sale, just to get going. And then I got my trusty electric pressure washer here. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get this thing sprayed off real quick. It's starting to warm up. It's around 85 degrees out right now. Let's get it sprayed off, dry it off, and get the install going. I've got the Yamaha dried off. I've got everything put away. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start first with the wheel spacers. I know I did this on the Pioneer. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on here. I'm gonna start with the rear wheels, go to the front wheels. I am going to use my trusty Loctite. I did look up the torque specs. You wanna be really careful because if you look, these are a fine thread, very small lug. So I'm gonna make sure I don't over torque these. I will be putting my red Loctite on there. And we'll do the wheels and tires first, then we'll do the wheel nuts. I am using my trusty Harbor Freight jack that I used to pick up the Pioneer. Picked this whole Raptor up pretty easy. So let's go ahead and get started. So one thing to notice on these Yamahas is not only does it have the lug nut, but it also has a washer. On the Pioneer, because these are basically a flanged nut, I don't know the exact name for it. On the Pioneer, it uses the acorn shape. So just make sure when you're taking off the wheels of one of these things, you don't forget that there is a washer on them. Loctite. So on these wheel spaces, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and torque them down to half torque. For the first round, I'm going to go back a second time and get them to full torque, just so that make sure we don't get anything warped on here. So I'm going to grab the torque wrench and we'll get that going. My trusty snap-on torque wrench. I'll go ahead and get this set. And these do not take a lot of torque. for a second go around. I have the torque wrench set. I'm gonna take my cheater bar just to make my life a little easier. I'm gonna go ahead, do the other 3 tires. Then I get back on the ground, I'll double check all the torque. I'll be right back. So there you have it. Wheel spacers are installed. Super simple on these. I know some people don't like them. A friend of mine who has this, he likes them. I am running, the 1.5-inch wheel spacers on the Pioneer just to bring the rear track to make it about even with the front. I believe the spec is 1 inch on the Pioneer. I had the 1.5 inch laying around. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install the wheel nuts. So let me show you how this goes. If you look at the foot pegs, you have pre-drilled holes here and here. And then you have your engine mount, which is this. There's 2 bolts here and here. And what the instructions say on the foot nuts is you're gonna take this one off and you're gonna install this peg right here loosely so it can move, and then you'll install here and here loosely, and then you'll torque everything down. One thing I am concerned on is this front corner here may interfere. It may move out of the way. If you do look at these wheel nuts, this does have a nice slot up and down, and this is side to side, so you get everything lined up. Then obviously this will just slide on in and fit that way. So I'm going to get the first one installed, and then I will lace the net accordingly. We'll see how well it goes and if it interferes or not. And if not, I will lace the net on the second one before we install it. So let's now on to the wheel nut install. And let me show you how this goes, because there is a right way and a wrong way. So I'm going to show you my way. When you're doing these, if you look at the net, I have it laid out here, and this is on the passenger side or right hand side. You got these 2 that go across, and then 1 here. This is for the front of the bike, this is back by your foot peg. So when you're installing these, the way that I saw in the instructions, and this is my way of doing it, you want this one right here towards the front, because if you flip it over, by the time you get everything back, it's gonna, and you get these 2 lined up over here, there's not a lot of strap left up here, and this one right there is almost on the back. So you want it on the front. So you can lace these when they're on the bike, or you can lace them right here on the table. I'm going to show you how I lace them per the instructions. It's kind of like when you lace the harnesses on your UTV. It's like a friction lock that holds these in, and that's it. So let me go ahead and show you on the table how it's done, and you tighten them all up. So when you do these, you're going to go from the top down through the bottom slot, pull it through the middle slot, and back up. And that way it's like a friction lock. It only takes a couple minutes to do this. Doing it on the table means you're not bending over. Doing it on the bike, if you got like I have on a stool, it's not too bad either. So come down. So now, here's how I like to do it. So you come over here. When you're over here, I like these ones lined up. That makes sense. Okay, so now that I have them all started, what I like to do is start with the side here and get them lined up right there. Just tighten them up a little bit. Okay, and then I like to start with the back because this one right here seems to be the hardest, and they're never going to be exactly perfect. I like to get the slack out of this one first. So that's how I lace these. There's always going to be some play, and remember these aren't supporting you, they're to catch you in case you do fall. You can always just kind of pull them a little bit tighter. So now let's go ahead and get the install done with. So when installing these, like I showed you earlier, you're going to go to this engine mount here, and you're going to remove this top bolt. Then I put a little bit of thread locker on it and reinstall it loosely with your front mounts. Then I'll take the supplied hardware, which I have here, and put the bolts, then the back of the Nerf bar net, a washer, and then the nylon locking nut right here. Once I get everything threaded and started here, we'll tighten it up. Now that's on there nice and loose, we'll go ahead, we'll take our Nerf bar, see how it move up and down, and we'll get everything lined up. Well, that's it on today's video. We got the Nerf bars installed, we got the wheel spaces installed. I gave it a real quick pressure wash and I wiped it down with some SC1 plastic polish. I've already gone ahead and I greased the A-arms and the rear swing arm. So last thing I gotta do is I'll just double check the torque on the lug nuts when I get back on the ground, some weight on it. So let me know in the comments below on what you would do. Would you pay somebody or would you do this install yourself? Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time.